What's good, y'all? Welcome back. As you can see, we got the PFF Mock Draft Simulator pulled up, so you know what today's episode is about. Like I mentioned last time, you feel me? I'm in here at 6:30 in the morning, just got off work. You know what I'm saying? Caffeine in my body, milligrams coursing through my veins. You feel me? With that being said, if you're listening to my voice right now, make sure you leave a like on the video. I'm gonna use this as kind of a way for y'all to gauge how I feel about a lot of prospects. I'm not gonna make it super long, not gonna be super long-winded with a lot of my responses, and I'm just gonna tell y'all what I think are the best scheme fits and some of my favorite players. With that being said, let's get right into it. I like Cam Ward a lot, guys. I accidentally clicked on McMillan. I like Cam Ward a lot, guys. He's not only does he have a good arm, I think he has really good processing. I like his anticipation. I like his arm. He does have some spotty accuracy. I do think he can clean that up, though, with the NFL quarterback coach. The guy's got insane work ethic. For him to come from Incarnate Word, I don't know where that is, and then work his way all the way up to Miami. Yeah, I think this guy has it. No, he would not go number one in most drafts, but right now he is. Cam Ward. Like him a lot. Number 2 overall, I think the Browns, even though you just re-signed Myles Garrett and you did sign Joe Tryon, I still think you can go edge. And Duke Carter, he's a fantastic talent, elite athlete. Like his explosiveness off the ball is truly it's stuff I've never seen before, for real. And pairing that with Myles Garrett would just be insane on a D-line. I don't think you should overdraft Shedeur Sanders. We'll see where he goes later in the draft. Do not think you should overdraft Shedeur. Not yet, at least. Next up, for the Giants, I'm going to go Travis Hunter. I think he's just the best player in the draft. At least the best player available. Abdul Carter might have a slight edge on him, but I think Travis Hunter's positional versatility, he's the ultimate Swiss Army knife. I mean, but his ball skills are insane. Whether you play him at corner or receiver, he is a stupid athlete. He's just a football player. Like, and as much as that might sound cliche, he just goes out there and he just plays football, bro. He'll do anything you ask him to do. I think that's the ideal selection right here. Next up, the Patriots. I do think that they got better on the O-line. They signed Morgan Moses. Do not think that they really need to overdraft an O-lineman. I think that's what you would be doing here, overdrafting a guy. I'm going to go Tedero McMillan. I think he's absolutely worth this pick. I've seen Drake London comps thrown around. That's fine. I don't think he's as good after the catch as Drake London, and I think he's more of a vertical separator than Drake London. Kind of like Mike Evans in that way, as far as the vertical routes go. But underneath, I do like the Drake London comp a little bit. I do think he's just as good of a route runner as he is. Only thing is, I don't know how good his release is because he wasn't getting pressed much in college. Anyways, though, Tedero McMillan, I think he's absolutely worth a top 4 selection. Next up, we're going to go Mason Graham. You just know what he's going to be right now. And the Jaguars just need a high floor player, especially on the D-line, interior at least. Eric Armstead's getting up there. That man's old. I don't think there's really any guys that you would consider other than Mason Graham at this point. Next up, we got the Raiders. I'm going to go Ashton Jeanty. They're looking to win now. We saw that with the Geno trade. We saw that with their free agency. They want to win now. They're sick of seeing themselves lose. Tom Brady went in there. I guess he told folks, hey, we're competing. With that being said, Ashton Jeanty, probably easily a top 5 prospect in this draft. Probably would be my 3rd prospect just off the top of my head behind Hunter and Carter, just because of the positional value there. Contact balance of death and destruction. Like you're not getting this guy down on first contact. He's gonna break that first tackle each and every time. Good hands out of the backfield. Does need to cut down on the fumbles, but he won't be used like they used him at Boise State, like 26 or something attempts a game. That was ridiculous. Anyways, Ashton Jeanty, phenomenal player. Next up, Jets. I'm gonna go Membu for the Jets. I think tackle is probably their biggest need with them signing Justin Fields. He holds on to the ball forever, and with a guy like that, you got to give him some protection. So Armand Membu, I think he's a very high floor player. He can run block, he can pass protect. He's a great athlete. Stick him in there at right tackle since you didn't want to bring back Morgan Moses. They made the same mistake a couple years ago. Why do they hate Morgan Moses? I don't know. He's just a good player. I don't know why they keep letting him go. Panthers, I'm going to go edge here. Mykel Williams. The reason I'm not getting Pierce or Green here, who I do think are better players, is because they have some off-the-field concerns. James Pierce, they're talking about anger issues with him. I've seen multiple reports on that. Mike Green, that nigga is a sexual deviant, multiple sexual assault accusations in college at 2 different colleges. That's why, like, he did that shit, bro. Allegedly. So I'm gonna go Mykel Williams here. Great athlete, great run defender day one, and I think they played him a little out of position at Georgia. And I do think he definitely has the upside to be much better in the NFL. He definitely has his best football ahead of him. Next up, we got the Saints. They keep on, like, signing good players even though they're in hell, bro. They're rolling in with Derek Carr as their quarterback again. I already spoiled it. I'm going to go wide receiver here. I think Luther Burden is a good fit there. You already have 2 outside guys, Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. Those 2 guys just can't stay healthy, though. I like Luther Burden in the slot for them. I think he's just the best fit available right now. Next up, the Bears. Let's see. I'm going to go edge for them. Yeah, I think I'm going to go James Pierce. This is where the slide's going to fall for him. Or the slide's going to stop, rather. James Pierce, stupid athlete. His first step is, like, borderline unparalleled. If he wasn't in the class with Abdul Carter, he'd absolutely be the best athlete at edge. Great pass rusher. Ones with power occasionally. I like that with his frame. If he could put on some more muscle and win with power even more, I love his upside. Like his fit to the Bears. I think that's an excellent selection. Next up, Niners. I'm going to go Will Campbell to fill in at guard. Amazing scheme fit. He can move block. You can pull him. Love him moving in open space. Just obliterating linebackers. Man, that line would low-key be looking decent if Niners should get Will Campbell in there. Next up, for the Cowboys, I'm also going to go O-line for them. Kelvin Banks. I think he has maybe a lower ceiling, but what he's going to offer you day one is going to come in. He has guard to tackle flexibility. He can, day one, he's going to be able to pass protect for you. Not as great moving forward, but I don't think that's a huge deal for them. I just think that's a great fit. I like him there. Low moving cost as well. Went to Texas, going to Dallas. Love it. So for the Dolphins, I was originally going to go Walter Nolan, but upon further review, I like Josh Simmons here. I think he's high floor, high ceiling type of player. He's just coming off of an ACL. I think he has really good feet, really good in pass protection. I love him going backwards. And the Niners, my bad. The Dolphins are going to need that with Tua. You know, he does get the ball out fast, but I mean, you don't want Tua to be taking any more hits. We know his history. I'm not going to bring it up too extensively, but anyways, next selection for me, it's the most obvious pick in the draft so far. Tyler Warren. He's just an excellent fit. He's really the last piece on that Colts team, that Colts offense. You want to see what Anthony Richardson can do. You surround him with the best cast available. I think Tyler Warren should absolutely be the pick at 14 if he's available. With that being said, let's move on. This is where the Mike Green slide is going to stop. Even with the off-the-field concerns, I think that Mike Green, I mean, he's super talented. He can win with finesse and power. He's not a bad run defender, even though he's only about 250 pounds. The only reason he's not going in the top 10 is because of the sexual assault stuff. Next up, the Cardinals. I'm going to have them going corner. Will Johnson. I do like some of the guys they have there. Star Thomas, Garrett Williams. I forget the other guy's name. What's his name? Max Melton. Drafted him last year. I do like those guys. But I think that Will Johnson is an upgrade over all of them. I think that's absolutely what they would do if Will Johnson's available. He is a great man coverage corner. The only concern about him is the long speed, and he didn't work out at this pro day or the combine. He was hurt, and so that's why we've seen him slide recently in big boards. Next up, I'm gonna go for the Bengals interior defensive line. Walter Nolan is gonna be the pick. Great pass rusher, phenomenal motor. I think he's gonna go out there, be a high floor player. He tries his ass off. When I mean motor, like he's constantly just going at you, man. And I love that out of a defensive tackle. Even if you don't necessarily have the build to defend the run, I love the effort from him. I think he would be great in that system. They need defense badly there. Didn't even mention that. They need defense in the worst way possible. Next up, for the Seahawks, I know his position says tackle, but Gray Zabel is going to be a guard at the next level. You need to protect Sam Darnold. He's not great under pressure. I think this is a bigger need than outside receiver because you got Cooper Kupp. Even though he's not an outside guy. He's going to be learning a new system. I don't know about the Cooper Kupp signing, But anyways, though, Gray Zabel, just super high floor player. He's just gonna go out there, just block for you, man. That's what you need with the new quarterback coming in, especially a guy that I don't think is gonna handle pressure as well as Geno Smith did last year. Next up, we have the Buccaneers. They could go edge. They could go Donovan Ezeraku or Shamar Stewart, or they could go with probably one of my favorite players in the draft, Jahad Campbell. Like, this guy is a Madden creative player. Honestly, he can cover. He's a stupid athlete. Dude is running faster than most of the receivers at the draft. Like, he's a freak athlete. He knows what he's doing in coverage. Super high effort player. Very smart guy as well. I love him. He probably shouldn't fall to 19 even, but just a positional value. Same thing with a guy like Omarion Hampton. I think he's absolutely a first round type of prospect, but he's just a running back. Same thing here. Linebacker's not the most valuable position, so that's the only reason he falls as low as he did. Next up, Broncos. I'm gonna go wide receiver. They do need another pass catcher. I just don't know if it's gonna be Igbuka or Golden. They have Evan Ingram now, who's like that big slot type. You're not going to be playing him a lot in line. I think Matthew Golden can just play out on the outside more, and that's what you're going to need more than a slot guy in Igbuka. Golden, I think he's a great separator. Apparently, he runs 4.2. I didn't see that on tape. I couldn't have told you that. I thought he would run in the 4.4s, but yeah, good hands, fantastic release. He can separate in the short and intermediate, which Sean Payton's going to love. I think that's a great pick. Next up, Steelers. This is where the Shedeur Sanders slide is going to stop. I do not love Shedeur Sanders as a prospect. I'm going to be completely honest. Yes, he has solid accuracy. I think, man, I just don't see a lot of upside with him. I'm going to be honest. The improvisation, jeez. That's how you know I'm tired. The improvisation of Shedeur Sanders, it's good. I just don't like his overall pocket presence. It's just on a snap-by-snap basis, it's very inconsistent. Once the pressure gets in, he's able to manage it well, but I don't think he manages the pressure well before it gets in, if that makes any sense to y'all. That's how kind of I manage, not manage, that's kind of how I define pocket presence. Don't love his arm. He does not anticipate throwing lanes. And a lot of the time he's just chucking it up to Travis Hunter. I don't love him, but I do think he's a decent enough prospect to go in the first round. So for the Chargers, there's a couple of places you could go. They need interior defensive line now that Poona Ford is gone. They could also use a tight end for sure. I'm leaning Colston Loveland or Kenneth Grant here. Both guys are Michigan guys, hardball guys. It's kind of difficult. I got to think about this, man. I think Kenneth Grant is just a more valuable player. They lost Poona Ford in the offseason. They need another guy that's going to go in and stuff the run. I like Kenneth Grant's athletic ability, his upside as a potential, solid pass rusher at his enormous size of 6'3", 340 pounds. Obviously he's going to defend the run. Just go in there. Really, he doesn't even have to do much. Just hold his gap. He's a fantastic player. I think he's going to go in immediately day one, be a great run defender. He has the pass rushing upside. Love the fit. So for the Packers, the board has fallen pretty well for them. Their biggest needs are honestly at the top of the board. You got corner, you got edge, you got receiver. In this case, I think they should probably go receiver. Emeka Egbuka is available. The only thing is, him and Jaden Reed are kind of going to play similar roles. I do think that both of them can play on the outside a little bit, so they won't be competing for snaps so much. And the Packers, man, receiver is such an understated need for them. Christian Watson is probably only going to play a couple games next year. Romeo Doubs is a concussion or two from having to retire. I don't know if people know about his concussion history. It's insane. And even then, you still kind of want another receiver there that can go and separate consistently for Jordan Love. I think Egbuka's your guy. He's great after the catch. He's just so consistent. The short and intermediate routes, he can separate over the middle. Jordan Love, I think he's good. He just needs guys who can separate, and he needs to get rid of some of that irrational decision making. It's honestly crazy sometimes. But Emeka Egbuka, like the fit, as I've been saying the entire time. Obviously, these are my favorite fits, if I'm being honest. Not necessarily what I think is going to happen, but what I like. That's pretty much what this mock draft is based on. Next up, we got the Vikings. Malachi Starks, I think, is one of the best DBs in this draft. He just doesn't have the positional upside. Safety, the positional value is low, of course. I think he's a top 10 prospect in this draft. Look at his 2023 tape, absolutely insane. They just asked him to do way too much this past year, I should say. 2024 wasn't his best year, but I do think what he showed in 23 is still there, for sure. Love Malachi Starks. Extremely versatile at safety. He can play either spot for you, free and strong. What Flores likes to do in his defense, he likes to use three safeties, so that now they have Metellus, Harrison Smith, and now Malachi Starks can go in there and be a great player day one. Love the floor, and I can even love the ceiling. So, great pick there. Next up, Texans. They need O-line. Probably going to be tackle here. They need to replace Laramie Tunsil. I'm not going to go on him too much, but why the hell would you trade Laramie Tunsil in his prime? He's an elite pass protector. You got a second-round pick next year. I don't get it. Do you want C.J. Stroud to stay upright? Pause if needed. Anyways, going to go Josh Connolly. I think he's the best tackle prospect left on the board. He's a really good player. A high floor guy, solid pass protector. Did get dominated by Mike Green on that one rep. I think everybody saw it. He just got bulldozed, like butt on the ground by Mike Green. Next up though, for the Rams, oh brother, I'm gonna give them Colston Loveland. Man, that would be so scary, man. I do not want to see the Rams next year. I think he's a high floor player, catches everything. He's a solid athlete, can separate in the short to intermediate game. Like Colston Loveland, I think he's going to come in and be a very high floor player, as I said, in a great scheme fit with Sean McVay. Next up, we got the Ravens. I think they could use a corner for sure. What they lost, Brandon Stevens. I don't think they replaced him. Yeah, no, the Ravens did not replace what's old boy name? Brandon Stevens. He got super overpaid, man. He was getting torched last year. I think he allowed the second most yards. Insane. Anyways, though, I do think they need corner. Jahdae Barron's available. He can play the slot or the outside. Marlon Humphrey, I think, as well has some versatility. That third corner, along with Kyle Hamilton, oh my goodness, that DB room could be scary if Jahdae Barron falls to the Ravens. Love the fit. As I say for every pick, come on now. Love the fit. Very versatile player in Jahdae Barron. Super high floor. Just don't know about the ceiling really. Next up is the Lions. I forget who they got in free agency. I'm gonna check real quick on the fly. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, I didn't think they got anybody super valuable at edge. I'm gonna go Donovan Ezeraku for them. Polished player. Listen to the last name. Like, he's African. Of course, he's gonna be a phenomenal athlete. That's like, look at the Achilles tendon on this guy. Anyways, though, Donovan Ezeraku. I like his floor. I like his ceiling for sure. If I would be surprised if he falls to 28 in real life, to be honest. With that being said, I think I don't really have too much to say about him. I'll move on. Next up, Washington. I think you probably go Tyler Booker here. I could be mistaken. I do not believe they got a guard. It was just Laramie Tunsil, right? Yeah, they could. I think they could use a left guard. I don't want to look like an idiot here. Hold on. So for Washington, I think there's a couple guys you could go with here. You could go with an edge player. I think you could go with a running back. Brian Robinson didn't look great last year. I know he was playing through some injuries. Austin Eckler's not great. I do think that they go edge. They're kind of just trying out regular degglers on the edge right now. I'm lower on Shamar Stewart, but at 29, I definitely like Shamar Stewart. He's a great athlete. Like I've been saying for everybody, like this is probably the most athletic edge class I've ever seen, honestly. This guy ran 4.5 at like 260. Insane. He's going to come in and be a great run defender day one. I just don't know what the floor looks like as a pass rusher. He doesn't really have any go-to moves. He kind of just bull rushes at you. That didn't lead to much production. Don't love him. But at pick 29, I think that's excellent value for an athlete of this caliber. Next up for the Bills, Darius Alexander. High floor player. He's a little maxed out, in my opinion. So, a lower ceiling on a guy like this. But he's going to come in. He's going to be a great pass rusher on the interior. I do think you like that a lot. Complete the interior defensive line. I think that's a solid D line. You got some guys there. Rousseau, Epinesa, Miller, Oliver, and now Darius Alexander on the inside. That's a solid pass rush. I like that quite a bit. He's just the only thing about Alexander, he's 25 years old. So like I said, the ceiling is the only concern on him. But I do think he's a very polished player. Next up, we got the Chiefs. The Chiefs, they could go guard here. They could go. I don't love the tackles. They could definitely go guard. Could go interior defensive line. They lost Tershawn Wharton. Oh yeah, Derek Harmon's sitting here. I think that's a good pick. We're gonna go Derek Harmon for them. Another high floor player. Liked what he did in Oregon. He's gonna come in. He's just gonna be solid interior defensive lineman as soon as you draft him day one. And I like guys for that for contending teams like the Chiefs. Next up for the Eagles, they have like no needs, so I think you just go best player available. You're not gonna pick a running back, although I do think Maureen Hampton is significantly the best player on this board. Let me just make sure I'm not missing out on anybody. You could go Trey Amos, who I do like a lot. you do low-key need a third corner. I'm kind of talking myself into that. I was thinking Jalen Walker with the positional flexibility. Can play some linebacker, can play some edge. You did just lose Josh Sweat. But I do think I talked myself into the corner. Trey Amos, he just has so few flaws. He can play man, he can play zone. He's not a great tackler, doesn't take very good angles. But I just think he's such a high floor player. He can come in and play on the outside for you immediately, like Trey Amos. Yeah, that's the mock draft. My favorite picks. My favorite fits here are Will Campbell to the Niners. Love that. Like Will Johnson to the Cardinals. Walter Nolan to the Bengals. Although anybody on defense for them is a great fit because my goodness. Jahad Campbell to the Bucks. He's gonna learn for a year under Levante David. Well, he's gonna play year one as well, but anyway, so other fits I love Colston Loveland. That would be just disgusting. And I like Darius Alexander to the Bills. Also Trey Amos to the Eagles would be insane. Another guy, Tyler Warren to the Colts. Love all of those fits. But that's about it, y'all. If you're listening to my voice, as I said, if you watched through this whole thing, I love you. Make sure you're liking, commenting, subscribing, all that. Let me know if you want any topics about the NBA, UFC. Those are really the only other sports I watch, if I'm being completely honest. Or if you want any other type of videos. You feel me? Like I said, I get into politics. You want movie reviews, show reviews. I'll start a whole nother channel. You feel me? Just let me know what you want. Yeah, but that's my mock draft, y'all. Peace.